What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Seth the Lawn Surgeon, and you already know what time it is. Tipsy Talk. Alright, people. I know the first two things you're going to notice is one, this video quality is crappy because I'm recording it on my phone. Two, I'm inside because I've had a long week. I'm tired. But I still got to give y'all that Tipsy Thursday. Yes, sir. Anywho. So, what I'm talking about today is one of the most important things about getting new customers. And we will see if I am correct. I have been correct about this for a while when getting customers part-time. But me going full-time, I will see if my strategy works. The number one attribute about getting customers is knowledge. Knowledge / aka common sense. But it's more so knowledge. And let me explain why. A lot of people think, oh, I'm not getting customers because I don't got this big, nice commercial equipment. Oh, I'm not getting customers because I'm not advertising correctly. When you use this technique I'm about to tell you, dealing with the knowledge, your percentage rate of getting new customers will go up. Like, basically, every time I talk to a customer, it's an 85% chance they're going to call me back. The only reason they're probably not calling me back is because, they don't need my services. And I'm not saying this to say that I'm Mr. Know-It-All. I know everything. But I pride myself in being knowledgeable a little bit about everything. Like, I don't even really do pavers. I know a little bit about pavers. And it probably comes from being a policeman. Little known fact about policemen, people. We don't know everything. But we're not going to let you know that, And so, and being a policeman, people always want to come up to you and ask you questions. People ask me the craziest question. I live in Central Virginia. Oh, how's the weather in Western Virginia? And I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking of. I don't know. But I give them a response to let them know that I don't know. You know what I mean? Or they might ask me a question about such and such. I don't know the answer. I give them a knowledgeable answer and say, and if I really don't know, I say, I don't know, but I can find out for you if you need to. And I always have somebody to call and ask. It's the same thing with lawn care. A lot of times you'll be mowing and a potential customer will come up to you and say, hello, sir, how you doing? I was looking to get these weeds out of my flower bed. Do you know anybody or do you do that? Now, the unknowledgeable person would just say, yes, I do that. No, you got to say more than that. When I talk to people, I hold them there. They ask me one question, I'm talking for at least 2 minutes. And so, like, let me give you an example, right? The other day, I was handing out flyers, right? And, most of the time, I might talk about how I hand out flyers as well in this. But I was handing out flyers, and this person's grass was tall. And I walked up to them. They was getting home. They was getting the kids out of the car. First thing you do, you want to be respectful. I say hello. I acknowledge myself before I even start walking down their driveway, just to be respectful. And they turn and they say hello. And then as I'm walking down the driveway up to them, I introduce myself. Hi, my name is Stacy Flanagan with Seth the Lawn Surgeon. I was just going around handing out flyers. Boom. I give them the flyer. and I turn and walk away. I don't try to beg them for any services. Your grass looks bad. And now you're going to make them feel bad. Like, oh, dang, my grass looks that bad. I give them the flyer, turn and walk away. Now, if they ask me a question, like this customer did, potential customer, I apologize. I turn around and I give them that knowledge. So he said, yeah, do you clean out flower beds? I said, how much would you charge to clean out this flower bed? Don't just instantly say a price, right? First thing I do, I said, well, let me take a look. Now I'm looking. I already have a price in my mind about how much I would charge, but this gives me a little bit more time to think. So I go look at this customer's yard, flower bed. So I tell them, I said, all right, well, I'll do it. I can clean out your flower bed for $40. And before they even respond, I give them that knowledge. I said, I can clean it out for $40, and that includes spraying it and then cleaning it out. And I said, what that process is I will spray it first, and then I will come back and clean it out. And then what I do is the visual. You have to give them a visual, right? And so the visual when you're talking about cleaning out flower beds is I reach down, and I said most people, they just reach down and they rip out the weeds. You get what I'm saying? I don't say you get what I'm saying, but you get what I'm saying. I say that to y'all. But I said you reach down and they try to rip out the weeds. And when they do that, they don't get all of the roots. Most of the time, they might think they got everything, but they just ripped off the top of it. The roots are still in the ground. And with the roots being in the ground, that weed can instantly grow back. So even though you rip it out, you put mulch on top, those weeds can grow back. What I do is I spray it, wait for 3 to 5 days, and then I come back and then I proceed to remove the weeds, which is really just me weed eating them down to the ground. But the reason why I do that, and what I tell the customer is because by you spraying the weeds first, it allows that weed killer to kill those weeds down to the root. So that particular weed has no potential to grow back. At that point, I remove it, and then it's prepared to put down mulch. And so I sit there and say all that. That takes me about a minute or two. And now this person probably then lost me when I started talking about pulling up the weeds. But I done overloaded him with so much knowledge that he's like, man, this guy really knows what he's talking about. And so that's what I do. You get what I'm saying? And let me give you another example of a visual. Like I said, it's always good to give a visual. Sometimes you have a customer, right? You might already have this customer and you've been cutting them for a while and they keep telling you, oh, I want my grass cut down lower than that because, my weeds show and, I want my grass to be thick or something like that. They're trying to tell you that, for some reason, they're trying to tell you to cut it low. And what I try to tell them is that the way weeds work, the way lawns work is, right, if you want your lawn to be thick, if you keep cutting it low, it's never going to be thick. One, if you look at a blade of grass or any type of plant that's in your yard, the further it goes up, the more like chloroform is in it. So the greener it is, it's going to be at the top. The further you get down to that piece of grass, it gets lighter, it gets browner. So what I do is I bend down, give them that visual. Pick up a piece of grass and I show them. So you see this piece of grass, see how at the top of this piece of grass is nice and green. At the bottom part, closer to the root, is brown. So if I come and I cut your grass really low, it's going to look browner. When I cut it higher, it looks more green. Now, I know in the areas where you say some areas are thinner, that's because those areas, it's not good soil, it's not good grass. That grass is not growing as fast as these other areas. So it's kind of like my hand. When you look at my hand, some of the grass is shorter than the other. So if you try to cut it down lower, like down to here, so that everything is uniform, you're cutting it down lower, it's going to look browner. But if you try to cut it up high to this grass up there, at first it's going to look shorter in some areas, but if you keep cutting it consistently at that height, it allows the other grass to catch up. So then your grass is nice and even across the board. Knowledge. So, but that's a couple of examples right there. That's a spiel I done gave to people many times, and they're like, oh, okay. And so, I didn't talk to people at gas stations. People just ask me simple questions, and then they will call me. I'll give them a talk like that, give them some knowledge, give them my card, and won't even think about them, because I'm the type of person I would tell people, legit. I have customers where I would break down what they need to do in a particular situation, growing grass, fertilization, or whatever. And I tell them, if you need me, text me. I'll tell you everything you need to get. I'll tell you where you need to go. People try to be so secretive. Oh, I don't want to tell them my secrets because they might go do it themselves. Okay, if they go do it themselves, okay. But the fact of the matter is most people don't want to do it themselves. You know what I mean? It's so many people out there that just have good jobs. They don't have time to do it. Maybe they got some physical problem that they can't do it. They have to hire somebody. So if there's somebody that's physically capable of fixing their yard, I have no problem with helping them. Guess what? You might help that person, and you might not be able to service that person, but that person will appreciate the fact that you gave them that information, and they'll refer you to 2 other people. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of like don't burn bridges. If somebody comes to you, asks you how you do stuff, don't be like, I don't know. I can't tell you, but I can do it. Don't be like that, bro. But anyway, that's basically what I'm trying to say is knowledge. When you talk to somebody, be knowledgeable and try to give them as much information as you can. And it makes you look like a more professional company. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it doesn't matter if you got all little residential stuff. Like I said, I was giving people as much knowledge as I had at the point when I was out here with a Dodge Magnum, a 4x6 trailer, a 94 Murray, and a weed eater and a push mower in the back of my Magnum. I was rolling around here like this, and every time I talk to somebody, they'd be like, this guy has more knowledge than I think to. They probably talk to somebody with some big old setup, and that person was like, yeah, I can cut your grass, boss. You get what I'm saying? You gotta give them that knowledge. So make sure you research, make sure you ask questions. That's what videos like this is for, people. That's why I give y'all this information, because, I know some other people that was like me in 2012, just starting off, that wanted some of this information. So I try to spread it. So anywho, thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, and stay tuned. Yes, sir.